All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we are with a little golf talk, which right up my alley nowadays, 38 years old. I went from baseball to golf, and we're here with one of the best, Coach Rick Clark of Orange High School. 22 years, Coach. Incredible. What has changed in the golf culture in the last 22 years?
It's a good question, DJ. I think when I first started that many years ago, I think you see a lot of coaches now that have a lot more technical experience. There's a lot more PGA people involved. When I started coaching golf, you could not talk to the players during the round you could only talk to them in between when they finished a hole and the next tee. You couldn't do any coaching.
During the actual hole itself?
During the actual hole, during the entire play. So when I first started, that's where it was. It gradually increased to where it is now, which is really almost like a college golf coaching atmosphere where you can walk with the players. You can even jump on the greens now. It's really evolved.
Golf has exploded since COVID, and that's all across America. It's been, I've seen more people involved in it, boys, girls, men, women, whatever it may be. So when you look at that, golf was one of those programs, I think, that was always kind of on the back burner, but now we're starting to see it on the forefront and starting to see, like, athletes playing golf, not just golfers, but athletes. How does that go into a golf coach? And are you having trouble kind of having a team from a standpoint of having too many people on a team?
Well, it in the public schools, it can be a little cyclical
Sure.
in terms of number of kids that come out to tryouts. Years ago, probably about 12 to 15 years ago, I had 35 kids at tryouts for 14 spots.
Oh my gosh.
But pre-COVID, around when COVID started, there was a drop, which has now bounced back. This year, we had to make some unfortunate cuts. This year, we have a lot more competition for the varsity team than we had in the last few years. But the game itself, it can be a little bit cyclical, but I think we're on an uptick.
I love that. Let's talk about your team this year. How do you feel about them? Who's it going to be the standout golfers and guys that are going to win these matches for you?
Well, this year, and you're going to hear from a couple of them soon, I have two senior returning players, Gabe Niemer and Max Eisenberg. Gabe has 3 years of experience on the team, and Max has 2. Both of them are fantastic leaders. The young kids can look up to them. And we have a sophomore who's returning who played as a freshman last year named Jaden Park, who's also a good player. And then we have a couple of freshmen and a sophomore and junior that are going to be in the mix too. We're young, but we do have some experience at the top, and I think that experience is going to be helpful. But with the youth, you never know what you're going to get sometimes. And in the game of golf, it can be hole to hole, shot to shot, round to round. Where things can change. And that's what we try to do. That's what our players try to help me with, is keep everybody on an even keel. You can't get too high, you can't get too low. And that's where we're at. And I think it's been something that's been good for our program for a lot of years, trying to do it that way.
Coaching's got to be interesting in golf because you have a team, right, that you've got to obviously you want them to win, but it's also an individual thing. So how do you kind of balance that between being a team coach and an individual coach?
Well, when you get into the postseason, sectionals, districts, I think we do discuss some of the individual aspects of what can happen. During the season, we really focus on the team, and the individual successes will come from the team successes. We try not to characterize somebody as being the number one, being the best, being in this position, because on any given day that can change. And young people are sensitive to those kinds of things, and it's important for them to think that they have a certain position. But we've tried to establish you don't really need to worry about where you're playing. Just go out there as a team. We're trying to get 4 scores out of 6 or 5, depending on the tournament, and go from there. So.
Coach, we appreciate your time so much. Good luck this year, and if there's anything we can do, help you out with some push for your team, let us know. Congratulations.
Thanks.